It's bright. Just got on scene. Took the Gatorade over here. Got miners down on the farm.
Man down! Man down!
And if our mining rigs are down, we're not earning passive income. I thought it was supposed to be so easy. So I logged in remotely, right? And so what's up? I'm Vosk. This is the VoskCoin Immersion mining shed, liquid cooled. Over there we do hard drive mining, and over there we do air cooled mining, among other things, out here on the farm. I've been worried about this arrangement. I don't know exactly what happened, but I think I know. So let me backtrack, right? So I earn passive income mining cryptocurrency. I also work on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. We create other content, all that stuff. So I've been working really hard to expand the VoskCoin Mining Farm. We've been building the farm. We've added all these immersion tanks. There are 6 miners in here, 3 in there, 6 over there, so forth, a lot of them. And we're trying to get things cleaned up and fixed up. One thing I noticed is that this tank is supposed to have a power draw of about 70 amps. And we're at 44, so that's not even close to where I want to be, where we are supposed to be. Then there's also this issue. So in here, there's 3 Cadena miners, 3 KA3s. This isn't completely offline. So why?
Hey, but why though?
I clicked that green button and it went from less than an amp draw to now 3 amps. I hear the system's working again. So that means that this tripped. Why would that trip, right? Because this one, while I still need to diagnose an issue with what's going on with the miners in this Bixbit immersion setup, this is still online and operational. Over there, we've got the fog hashing units, which I really like, and then also the DCX units, which have been good long-term as well. I love these power meters I put in. They're just Drock power meters, and sometimes we cut up a meter box faceplates to do a quick, easy mount. I need to clean all this gunk off this to make it look a little nicer, but at a glance, I can figure out what's going on. It's not as easy to read, but it's why I also like these Altair mining PDUs, because I see 19 amps, right, 19 amps, 17 amps, 20 amps. And basically what that means is I know roughly how much power that my miners should be pulling. Just walk the spider web in here. I know how much juice these things are roughly supposed to be pulling. So if I see about that number, then we're good to go. This is my network app, and in particular we're looking for these KA3s. I see 2 of them. One's in a different location. I need to redo my naming so that they're right next to each other. Basically, these have come back online. They were completely offline prior to clicking that red button, which is basically untripping the device. We also see that we've now gone up to 8 amps, so that's good. Really, that should be pulling around 40 plus amps between the system and the miners. What I'm really worried about is as it gets hotter here in Virginia, the hotter things are, the less efficient they are. The immersion cooling systems have to run harder as well, which is increased power draw. The miners get hot, they draw more power, and I'm really close to maxing out that circuit, and I'm thinking that I maxed out the circuit and tripped, or it couldn't keep up with the cooling. That system is just not able to cool 3 miners. Basically, it can really just pull. It can really just maybe cool 2. So I adjusted the settings on 2 of my L7s that went down over the last night. I had a lot of miners go down. I think I have a weird ISP issue, internet service provider issue. Almost all of my amp miners went down. All of my K7s, yes, all 12 of them. Both 2 of my L7s, my KS3, also a Jazz miner went down, but not both of them. And a couple other miners. My Antminer X5 Monero miner did not go down. Some of the other miners did not go down. My Bitcoin miners did not go down, but most of them are on Brains, and Brains normally doesn't suffer that same issue there. So I've adjusted the configuration. You see that I'm at about 45 amps, and I did a software restart, but I'm just going to do a full reboot on the miner. So I just clicked that, and I'm just doing it, quick and dirty on my phone. We did lose about an amp once I did that. Probably a good sign that it's rebooting. So now we can see that we're up to 45 amps. I'm also going to do a hard restart on the second L7 that's in there that's not working properly. Hey, you want to buy a mining rig? Do you want a pretty good price on it and pretty fast shipping? Then you may be looking for ASIC Marketplace. Click our link in the video description below to not only support our channel, but support yourself with the coupon code we've got right next to it. So let's do some quick math while we wait for those to come back and see if that's going to be the quick and easy solution to our issue. Right, so this is a 50 amp circuit. This was a setup that can kind of run 3 miners, but was really designed just to run 2. But the tub is huge. I mean, look at this footage. Like we had 2 miners in there, and it looked like we could move our whole family in. We add a third one, and there's still a lot of space in there. So, you know, naturally, I want more density out here. I put a third device in. My brain is like, yeah, let's definitely make sure we keep all 3 Cadena miners, these KA3 miners in there together, right? Everything we're dealing with in here are ASIC miners. They're purpose-built machines. They're custom computers. All they do is mine cryptocurrency. And so naturally, I like to keep them together, right? I want my Cadena miners over here, maybe my dogecoin miners over there. I got a bunch of Bitcoin miners all around. And we've caught up on a bit of the maintenance that we needed to do, right? Like I recently put the exhaust fan in, put the little air filter over there, and it's helping to keep, you know, all of this area cool, because while all of these have external radiators, basically the big fans outside, they still produce heat. They radiate heat, right? So we got the big spit, we got the little bit. Yes, they both still do have a very small pinhole leak, but the pressure's holding good in the system, so I'm just gonna let it eat for now. We got the little baby fog hashing dry cooler, and then we got his big brother, Mr. B6D, and we got the DCX dry cooler for 8 miners, and then we have it's literally half of that. The little one, we don't have proper, that system never pressurized properly, but it's still been good enough. It's still been running, so it's in that same category. But we're just gonna let it eat. Long term with the mining farm, one of the things I'm gonna do is some of these systems will eventually be condensed into, like, you know, 6 miner tubs, and hopefully eventually 24 and so on, immersion mining tubs. A key thing is, yeah, like I'm out here to have fun, build a mining farm. We do get some unique opportunities to review things like this immersion equipment. Like I love testing, right? I want to test this one, test that one, and then see which one would I actually really want to build a full mining farm with. It's kind of like I have a mining playground out here, and I'm going to make some content directly comparing these things. So, you know, give you guys my 2 cents on what's working well and what's not, and you know, whatever else. So both of these restarts have completed now, and so you can see we're back up to nearly 71 amps. So that's good. That's expected. That's where we want to be. So both of those L7 dogecoin miners have come back online. After clicking the green button and doing nothing else, we're pulling 39 amps out of the 2 to 3 miner tub, which is close to our target power draw. I also walked by the dry cooler, and you saw that was spinning and everything, so that's good. That's what we want. And then one thing I can do real quick at a glance is I can log into my app. Now, log in here, it's basically my mining pool account, and you can see I see all 3 of my miners. But there's something really alarming, is that these 2 are pretty close to their target hash rate, but the 166 model is significantly lower, and normally we're pulling like 41 amps or down a couple amps, and I just really hope that these didn't overheat and I lost a hash board or something. 166 divided by 3, yeah, I can do math, pretty easy math. 55, so 166 minus 55 is 111, and we're not far off from that. Okay, we went up to 120, that's a step in the right direction, but it's still oddly low. So I got everything back online, but this doesn't fix, you know, what's going on. That system will never, or should never, trip for no reason, right? I need to figure out why. The only thing that makes any sense is that it's getting hotter and hotter. We just had some of our hottest days of the year so far. This equipment was installed from the fall into the spring. Now we're entering summer here. This equipment needs to be able to handle and operate at the hottest, the dead heat of the summer. one of my backup plans is to just take one of the KA3s out that has a bit of a higher power draw and put it into the 6 miner container next to it, and then swap in one of the Bitcoin miners I have in there that I have basically underclocked that only pulls about 2,000 or so watts. So by taking a miner that pulls around 3,300 watts or so, and then swapping the place of it with one that pulls about 2,200, that's giving us a whole 1,000 watts of additional overhead space in the electrical aspect. Hopefully that's enough. If somehow that's not enough, then I'll take another Cadena miner, swap it with a Bitcoin miner. I have a lot more extra electrical capacity in the 6 miner unit because that's a much bigger circuit. Actually, let me just show you real quick before we round out this day in the life on the mining farm video. People are like, what do you do? I mean, this is kind of what like an average day is like. It's some kind of random mining problem. And then obviously just trying to keep up with crypto is quite a journey. So I have 2 panels, 200 amp panels that go to the shed. For now, we're pulling in more power, trying to. So I've got the 2 cell miner. That's the 2 to 3 miner unit. This is not labeled correctly. This is the 6 miner unit. I have a 125 amp circuit with the correct wire for 125 amps. So I'm only pulling 71 amps. I could be pulling 100 amps and still be totally fine. Over on the other one, I'm pulling 41 amps plus when it gets hot out of 50 amps. I'm breaking the 80% rule, and it looks like the breakers on the actual system are catching this issue before I'm actually tripping here at the panel. So a little bit of redundancy there is good, but the point is, the bottom line, I've got way more space on this other bigger unit. I don't really have that much more space left in the entire service on the shed, but I'm not tripping at the panel main, I'm tripping at the miner unit. So all these little things kind of add up. They give you data, they give you signs, they point you in the right direction, and then you just kind of got to modify that to fit whatever you're doing. I mean, this may not be the most exciting video or anything, but sometimes I think it's good to just talk about, what's like some smaller issues, how do you go about that? Why did this happen? I was worried about this. I foresaw this. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't have a camera right on that unit, so I didn't see exactly what happened and when. So I'm only speculating. If we break it down, what can happen, right? If there's an issue with a miner and it's just trying to pull more and more and more power, and it's basically overheating, it is pulling too much juice, and it's tripping the electrical panel for that immersion tank, right? Or everything's getting hot, the system and the miners are drawing more power, just generally, not that there's an issue, they're just drawing more power because they're hotter, and then the dry cooler and the pumps are running faster to try and keep up with the additional heat. That in turn draws more power, and then the power draw is getting to the point where something is tripping. And finally, the third thing would be some sort of weak component, like a weak breaker, and maybe it's just tripping way early. We've actually had a weak breaker in those Bixbit systems that we've already had to replace. And maybe it's not terribly weak, like it just doesn't work at all, but it may be just a bit weak. And so when we get kind of closer to that ceiling, it says, and let's go, trips. These components are good to keep your equipment safe and everything, but it's about kind of walking that line, finding the balance, ideally staying in between the 80% rule, which is where you use only 80% of your electrical circuit, especially with mining hardware, because it pulls this power 24/7, 365. That is a big discrepancy where people don't understand, like, these things are gonna eat all day, every day, and it just creates a lot of heat. Power is heat. These wires are hot, the breakers are hot, the miners are hot, the tubs are hot, the liquid's hot. It really compounds, and you have to have everything be adequate enough to handle that. Even my little basic exhaust fan system is a bit undersized, I think, but it seems to be getting it done enough for now. So I may have to add another intake vent and maybe even another exhaust fan. But I think it looks nice and simple up there, and I reused the vent hole. Well, I made it bigger, but oh man, I would like to just leave it at that. It's always projects, always stuff. But speaking of that, I got to get back to HQ. Got a bunch of stuff to work on. These videos don't make themselves, but hey, hope you enjoyed content. Hope you subscribe, stick around. Posting videos daily. It's crazy. And 10 seconds of tails as we ride off into the sunset.